KCast Radio, you're home for Kurre and Klapow, the morning's classic rock the bone on the KCast Radio app. Thanks to the thousands of folks who've downloaded the KCast Radio app, getting after it. I want to say good morning to Backyard Solutions Jeff, who's listening this morning. He just heard his endorsement. He's like, it sounds great. I love that place. And of course, our partnerships with all of our clients continue to grow, and it's great. Birmingham Guest and Budweiser on board.
I stopped calling their answer machine. I stopped.
945-4893. Call it, and you can hear me saying, thank you for calling Birmingham Guest and Budweiser.
If you are a business, though, let me understand this.
Yeah.
If I am a business
Yeah.
and I want to have distribution, I'm calling them. Well,
yeah.
That's all. I mean, obviously they have a phone for some reason.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Well, they're of Industrial Drive, and they're a distribution center. So
okay.
They are the ones that serve all the bars and the restaurants and everything in a 9-county area.
Okay.
But I don't know if you can buy direct from them or not.
Well, so I mean, if I'm a bar, I'm a new bar.
Yeah, and
I need to contact Budweiser.
You call.
Okay.
You call.
Well, that's what there's places opening back
you'll
up.
hear Tony Curry saying, "Welcome and thank you for calling Birmingham Guest and Budweiser."
We appreciate your call.
We appreciate
Please
your
hang
call.
on the line while.
Yeah, your call is very important to us. If you'd like to talk to vending, dial 1. If you'd like to talk.
Did you really do that?
Oh yeah, 16 times. That's why I made them buy advertising. I'm like, screw you, you're buying advertising time on KCast.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that was great. I love doing stuff like that because I know that they get about 1,000 phone calls a day, and so
right.
Tony Curry's pipes are out there every morning.
I don't like your phone call is important to us. I think we need to drop that. Not them.
Yeah.
I don't like your phone calls important to us because it's you don't need to tell me that. I don't like that. Hang on, I'm going to go on a rant because this happened to me yesterday. I also don't like when it's, can I have your name, please? Right? And for the longest time, I thought somehow they were typing something in there or they were connecting. No, because I'll say, can I have your name, please? It's Josh, Klapow. Good morning, Josh. How are you today? Right?
Yeah, I'd rather them. I like when they answer the phone and they say, "Welcome to something something fidgets. My name is Susie.
Yes.
How are you today?"
That's
what I want to
fine.
hear.
That's fine.
Because
I don't want to know.
Hey, Susie, I'm Tony.
That's
Curry.
exactly.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, the other one is where they kind of skip the pleasantries, where you call like Blue Cross Blue Shield does that. They'll go, "Thank you for calling Blue Cross Blue Shield. Can I have your name, please?" Like you said, and I'm going, hold on. First of all, good morning. How are
and you don't have to have many pleasantries because it's a balance. I don't like too much pleasantries. I had the other day, they were very nice. They're like, "Good morning." I said, "Good morning. How's your day going?" Don't ask me how my day. I don't want to know how my day's.
No, I like that.
See, I don't like that. I don't want to talk to you about how my day's going. I want you to help me in a nice way.
Yeah.
And when I tell them my day's going fine, well, that's great. That's great. Like, stop. And listen. My other.
You're bitter.
No, it's not bitter.
No, it's bitter.
I'm not calling you to chat. I'm calling. It's all about being polite and pleasant. But I'm not there for idle chit-chat.
They're not chatting. They're asking you how your day's going.
It's fine.
What the hell's wrong with that?
It's fine. My day's fine. But what I'm saying is, can I have your name, please? Can I have your?
I've got you texted good morning though before every morning though.
I've got good morning.
And I appreciate that, and people like that. Because you know what? You want something, and they want something. And you know you want something. They want your business, and you need them servicing you whatever you're calling for. So the least you can do is go, hey, I hope you're having a great day. I'm having a problem with something. Because normally there's a problem or something, or you need something.
They don't need to know my name. I mean, I'm happy
You're
to
the problem with this world.
No. I don't.
We need more pleasantries.
No. They don't need to know my name. I mean, I'm not keeping my name.
They do.
No, I'm not keeping my name. But it's just weird. It's weird.
No, they should allow you to tell them your name.
Yeah,
I agree with you. When they say, please state your name as seen on your policy.
Oh, well, that's different.
The first thing you do is call it, good morning, thanks for calling so-and-so. Please give me, I'm like, hey, hold on a sec. Can we say, how you doing? Are you having a good day? We're having a conversation here. I got a real person on the phone.
Yeah.
First of all, I got a real person on the phone. The first thing I want to do is go, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you, Susie.
That's you.
Because you
should do customer service.
They get set back. They're like, holy crap.
But that's you.
But you know what? You have to take into account that these knuckleheads are sitting at a desk, probably in a dark closet, smoking a cigar and drinking whiskey at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, they are, and they're taking phone calls from schmucks like us.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So the least we can do is add. It's like I went to the bank teller yesterday, Bryant Bank. That's why I bank. And the woman is always super nice, and that's why I'll always bank
I agree with you there.
And she's like, it wasn't. Sometimes they don't say anything.
No, I agree. No, there is. To me, it's like there's a fine line. And to me, it's time. It's time. I like the pleasantries.
Yeah.
It's great. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm fine. And then it's kind of like, okay, let's get. What I want them to get to more quickly is, how can I help you today? That's it.
Yeah, well,
That's it.
We're talking like 10 seconds.
No, it's too much. I don't want you to know my first name, my last
you
name.
are fucking bitter, dude.
My first name, last name, what the weather's like, where I live, how's it going. The other thing I don't like, one more thing. The other thing I don't like is after I say what's going on, which again, I've worked in customer service centers. I know this. There's a script. What's going on? Well, I'm sure I can help you with that today.
Sure.
Yeah, but you just don't read it. Like say, oh, that's too bad, whatever. Let me try to help you then.
Well, sometimes you have to tell people what to say because they've never done call centers before. And I will tell you this because my ex is doing this. They have a time limit.
I know this.
So they got to rip.
They got to get up. Well, listen, you get your time limit a lot quicker if you be friendly in your voice and say less.
Man, you are
Time to resolution. Time to resolution. Get to my question first, and then your time to resolution will be shorter.
What about a guy who has a business that doesn't take cash because of where it comes from?
What do you
There's
mean?
a guy in
Because
Dublin.
like
There's a guy in Dublin who's got this mattress store that I saw the story and I mentioned up. He put a sign out in front of his store yesterday. We are no longer accepting bra money. Evidently, it's so stinking hot over in Europe right now that women aren't carrying their purses and stuff because they just don't want stuff hanging from them. And so he evidently is receiving a lot of money for mattresses coming out of women's bras. He's like, we will no longer accept any cash from women's underwear.
How does he know?
And they're like, because I guess he sees them doing it and it's
Oh,
sweaty.
oh,
It's hot
I
and
see.
sweaty. And I'm
Pulling
thinking, first of all, I will look at bra money any chance I get, anytime. I don't even need to see her take it out of her bra.
Just tell me.
I think it's pretty hot when a woman takes her cell phone out of her bra or whatever she's on. But he's like, I'm not taking any more bra money. And I'm like, and so people are just hammering going, dude, you don't want the cash? Fine. I mean, whenever you go to the beach, do you ever give dry money? Ever?
No.
There's no dry cash at the beach. It's always wet and sticky and nasty.
Oh, that kind of dry cash.
You're not eating it, for God's sakes. It's cash.
Well, and cash is dirty anyway. I mean, dirt, right? I mean, it's not
unless
sterile.
it's soaking wet, and you have to hang it up. And I mean, I don't know how big a woman's boobs would have to be to do that. But the fact that it's hot, sweaty, sticky money, I'm taking the cash. Particularly, I would only take bra money. I'm only taking bra money today here at KCast Radio. And then one woman said, bras? I haven't worn one since April. It's so stinking hot. She goes, it ain't coming from my bra. You do. Just saying.
Your mind. You're going through a lot of life changes.
Could you imagine if guys started hiding like their wads in their wad? Like if you reached into your pants to pay for your next Happy Meal, what would the woman at McDonald's do? How much is it again? Hold on, the change is in the back. You're reaching back, pulling a couple quarters out of the crack your ass. That'd be great. But they take it. If
we went that way, though, it changed.
Would you like to round up today? Actually, I would.
Look at you.
You're reaching back.
You're cracking yourself up.
I know, right?
Okay, but here's
money's money, man.
Okay, but
Since when are we not taking cash because it's in a woman's bra? What the hell kind of business you running?
If it was coming from your pants, though, it would change the whole culture around manscaping. Because if you were too manscaped, it would fall down your leg and down.
A lot of people don't realize is you sweat a little less when you have a little hair.
That's what I'm saying. But you also need a place to hold the money.
You ever shave your ass?
I have. Yeah,
You shaved your ass?
I cut myself.
I did it one time.
Yeah.
And I'll never do it again because everything just feels like it's just sliding out.
Oh, there. No. I've done just like on the side to.
No, you gotta try the whole thing one time because you're thinking, well, it should make things easier, right? Less cleanup stuff. It's the strangest and most bizarre. It feels like you just left the proctologist every time you go to the bathroom. I'm like,
how often do you go to the proctologist?
Well,
but you should
go once a
month.
You
should go to the. You should have your prostate examined once a year. And Vituro Health, one of our sponsors, is there to tell you that prostate cancer is treatable. You need to have your prostate examined once a month. You need to have a PSA, which is a blood test. And you need to go to VituroHealth.com. They are there to help men have better prostate care, better prostate health, better men's health. Yes, that was a commercial, but it's important as long as we're talking about sticking things up your butt.
I want to say something that you'll never hear and never see on any Instagram, Twitter, Facebook post.
Are you becoming a shock jock?
And I did this several months ago.
Okay.
So yesterday I go out to the mailbox and I got a check from the United States Treasury.
Could you tell it was a check before you opened it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the little? Do you get the little like butterfly feeling when you get something from the Treasury? I do.
Well, if it's green, you know it's cash,
right.
and then if it's just something, oh yeah, I mean, because I get those too, because I owe the government right now, so I have to pay them off.
Maybe you shouldn't be saying anything.
But I want to thank the United States of America, and I want to thank the United States government for mailing me my stimulus check.
You got
yesterday.
it! Congratulations!
Stimulus check.
Good.
I couldn't believe how big it was. I was kind of like,
the amount or the check?
No, the amount.
Okay.
I was kind of like,
wow, that's awesome.
and I'm not getting any more than anyone else. I didn't realize that I don't know what I'm supposed to get. Now we're getting this child thing. I got another check for my child
credit
for $500 something. I was like, but you didn't have to do that. I'm just telling you, you didn't have to do that. And I'm being serious.
No, I know.
I got a check for $5,600 yesterday, and I'm going, what the hell? 5,000. That's life-changing money for a lot of people. And for me, it was. I mean, it came in at the perfect time. I mean, I was needing. I was like, wow, this is. And I was like,
that's great.
I could not believe that the U.S. government just sent little old me a check for nearly $6,000 because of COVID. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I almost wanted to send it back. I'm not going to. But I was just like,
from the federal government.
Listen, we have a deal here in this country. We have a great country. It's a free country. We got our issues or problems. We ain't talking about that, right? I still believe it's the greatest country in the world. But we have a deal where we work, we do our things, we pay our taxes, you fill my potholes, you make sure that our schools are good, you're doing all these things, and yeah, it doesn't work perfectly. I get that depending on where you live and what you look like and your ethnicity and blah, 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 blah. But we have a deal where I do my thing, and you don't owe me anything. You don't owe me shit. You don't.
Right. Okay.
You don't owe me anything, and it's been tough times. We're all dealing with it. We're all trying to figure this thing out. I know a lot of people have lost their jobs. They've lost thousands of dollars of cash. They're having a hard time. Other people seem like they got more money than to do with. I don't know. It's like you're either really rich or really poor right now in this country. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's really strange because I'm seeing people that normally don't have a lot of money that have a lot of money right now. And I'm like, okay, how'd this work out? And then you see other people trying to meander their way through, and they're still going through food banks. But you don't owe me anything. The government don't owe me anything. And I know a lot of people are like, damn it, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Right.
And I don't know if this is a Trump thing, a Biden thing. I don't care, political-wise. But you did not have to do that, and I really appreciate it. It's going to help me out, and I'm going to use it for a good cause. But I appreciate that. I think that's great. I don't know. Here's the thing that scares me. I don't know where the hell it's coming from. Well, it almost feels like dirty money.
It's not dirty money.
Well, listen, if they're sending me $6,000, and everyone in this country is getting the same thing or relatively the same, where is it all coming from?
It's called.
Do you remember when we got
printing it?
I know.
Have you looked at our debt?
The first time, I know.
I mean, I'm not saying that a bad thing.
When we got the stimulus checks, that first stimulus check,
the PPP,
like
PPP,
I don't know, a year and a half ago or whenever when this first. And I'm thinking, and they were going through Congress and the Senate and trying to figure out, how are we going to send every American $300?
Right.
And I thought, this is crazy. $300? They're going to send every American $300? Right. How are we going to do this? And then it had to go through all this legislation. They talked about it, finally put it off. Then there was going to be another one. I was like, this is great. And, it's $300 is $300. Don't get me wrong. That'll pay rent for somebody. But then when I got that check, I'm like, what the? I wanted to call somebody and go, where's this coming from?
They're printing it up.
Our children are screwed, aren't they?
Yeah.
And now they're talking this 3.5. You know what this is? You ever go in for a debt consolidation loan?
No.
You've got say $25,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah.
And you're going in, and they're like, "How much do you need?" And you're like, and your credit's getting. I'm like, I need $30,000. And usually they'll tack onto a credit card or something. They'll throw a credit card. What do you need? A credit card? To clean your stuff up, move everything. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, if I'm going to be paying this off over the course of 5 years, if I go out and spend another $2,000 today, it's only going to change my payment by like $17 a month.
Here we go.
And so typical American.
Yeah. This is great.
You think this is great? Well, since we got the loan, we can go out and buy all this furniture, go out and buy these clothes and stuff because it's only going to raise our amount $17
a little bit.
We can pay it off. The next thing you know, you go from $25,000 to $30,000 in debt because it's a consolidation thing.
Yes.
That's what this country. That's what it feels like. Right now, they're like sending all this cash out.
Yeah.
And they're like, while we're doing it, we're shopping. Let's go ahead and add this $3.5 trillion infrastructure thing in there, and we'll figure it out later. I'm telling you, I'm super scared in about 3 or 4 years.
I'm telling you, talk to kids who are like 20, 25.
Yeah.
The conversations that we have at my house, they're like, what the hell y'all doing? And we're like, well, we'll be dead by the time it is. They're just
nobody's sending it back.
No. I mean, I think, the only thing I do think, I'm not going to get all...
I want to thank the government.
No, that's right.
And I'm being serious. I want to thank you for looking after me, because you didn't have to do this, and I can't believe it happened. And that's a lot of money for a lot of people.
I wish we had a better way, and I understand this, that it's complex. I wish we had a better way of doling out the money. Because I do think that, if you will, not every American needs the $300. I'll just say for myself,
yep.
I don't need the $300, and I would much rather my $300 go to somebody else. And we do this for equity. We do all this kind of stuff. And I think sometimes in our attempt to do that, we're giving money to people who do. And this is a big complaint. But what's so interesting about that? We call this a free country. It's not a socialist. But we're constantly, as unsocialist as we are, we're constantly trying to make sure that there's sort of equality, right?
Yeah.
But
I know we're all different. I don't ever feel like anyone ever owes me anything.
No.
I feel like in tough times I got to figure out. I know I've got the resources, whether it's through friends or my work ethic or whatever, to get back up on my feet and figure it out.
You do.
I do.
But right.
And I've been brought up that way. My dad brought me up that way, and so like even when I was unemployed, I was unemployed for like 6 months because I couldn't work because of this stupid.
Go ahead.
Thing that radio had, where I did a non-compete thing, which is highly illegal, by the way, but it would cost me $100,000 to fight you in court, dumbasses. Anyway, that's why I'm doing this, because I don't have to have a non-compete. But I never filed for unemployment, and my ex was like, "Why don't you file?" I was like, "I don't feel right taking unemployment." Because you don't. Right now. They're like, well, she's like, "But you're unemployed. This is your right."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, but I mean, there's other people out there that need a lot worse than I do."
Sure.
And we had a guest on a couple weeks ago that admitted that she took unemployment. I was kind of like, and that's your right, and it's okay to do. There's the rules. And
well, it's there. It's there for that.
I realize that.
It's there as an option. I think that's the best way to think about it.
Yeah, and I know there's other people that are getting unemployment that shouldn't be getting unemployment. I understand that, but I was like, I will do everything I possibly can, and it wasn't even I feel bad about taking it, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm taking unemployment. Who the hell am I? Because I've never been without a job since I was 12 years old. Mm-hmm. And I struggled a little bit. I tried to figure out how to make ends meet. People were like, well, you taking unemployment? I'm like, no, why? And I'm like,
it's a choice.
I figured it out. And I did. I figured it out. And so I don't want the help unless I really need it.
Sure.
But
that's why we have it there, right?
I know that's the reason for it. Maybe it's because I had never taken it before.
Yeah.
Because listen, I'm not beyond working at McDonald's for $15 an hour. That's a lot of money, man. $15 an hour, 40 hours. You do the math.
Would you work at this one up here?
I know the manager up there, and man, I walked in the other day, and she was railing on her employees. They were screwing up, and she was like,
"Well, you can't, because you got Chick-fil-A. It's like sitting there being nice to everybody."
But if you've worked a job where you've made $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year, and by the way, those jobs aren't out there anymore, and all of a sudden you're like, I've got to make ends meet. Yeah. Are you willing to take a $25,000 or $30,000 job? We say we will, but the majority of people aren't going to do it. Well, I can't work 7 hours a day because I'm out looking for another work. Well, are you really?
Listen.
So, I mean, there's plenty of jobs out there. If you need to make the jack, you could go make the jack.
I mean, it's funny. We talked about it yesterday. This is pick your hard.
Yeah.
This is pick your hard. And I think everybody has they have a fiscal or money breaking point, and then they have a psychological point, right? And everybody's is different in terms of how much debt, how much discomfort you're willing to take on. And taking on more doesn't make you a better person.
Yep.
Listen, I've seen clients, I've seen patients who they're like you, but you didn't want to take unemployment, but you were also able to make ends meet, right? You figured it out. I have seen people literally on the brink of losing their house, but they're too proud to take unemployment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't say this, but don't be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't be dumb. Because if someone takes your house because of your pride, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't help you. That doesn't help your family, etc. We do crazy things. This is why I love my job. We do the craziest things to make ourselves feel better. Everything from entitlement to pride to I don't want the government in my business to where's the government to help me out. It's like we can't figure out in our minds where this all needs to be, except when you go on social media. Now you go on social media, everybody's got it all figured out.
Yeah.
That's what I absolutely love about watching comments on social media.
I don't know, there's something very satisfying about knowing you can be self-sufficient and figuring it out.
Sure.
And again, a lot of times people are like, okay, do I want to work harder and work longer for less money, or would I rather just get... I got a distant relative that could have worked and was able to work, but because of his... not even his Social Security, I forget what it was some benefit, whatever. He was getting paid more not to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, in so many different ways, you need to go to work. The guy was an alcoholic, he had all kinds of
things.
But I'm like,
just what you said, it's different. It's more. Sorry, it's more than the money.
Our system broke it. Yeah, our system set it up to where he was going to make more money to not work.
Yeah.
And it was for years.
Right.
And
and then we get mad at these people. I think it's so interesting. I mean, we'll go. This is getting too deep. But I think it's so interesting when people are, and we've played around with this around disability benefits and, putting time limits and stuff. But when we tell people, even on unemployment, but even on disability, you're making more money not working than you are working.
Yeah. And
then we get mad at you.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but it makes sense. It's a job. I'm making income.
Yeah. Saw this interesting story, and it's one of those stories you're not going to like, and I don't like it either. Eric Clapton came out yesterday. Did you see what he said?
Does he have COVID?
No, evidently, the UK came out and said that they're going to open it up for concerts and everything else, but they reserved a right to have situations where you're going to have to show your passport in order to go see concerts.
Your passport or your vaccination?
Well, passport is your vaccination card.
Wait, so stop. Your vaccination card, right? Not your passport. Okay.
Well, that's what passports are these days. No one has a passport. It's the vaccination passport.
Shut up, God.
No one has so fun. Why the hell would you have to show a passport to go to a
Well, concert? I don't know. That's crazy.
What I'm talking about, the vaccination passport, right?
Okay. Well, we don't have one here in this country.
In response to the government announcing that the vaccination passports were required to access nightclubs and venues by the end of September, Eric Clapton said, I will not perform at any venues that require attendees to show proof of vaccination. He said, unless there's a provision made for all people to attend, I reserve the right to cancel any show.
He's got that right.
He shared the statement via the Telegram account of Italian architect and COVID skeptic Robin Minotti. It was accompanied by a link to Clapton's anti-lock collaboration with Van Morrison's Stand and Deliver, in which they sang, do you want to be a free man or do you want to be a slave? Eric Clapton did get vaccinated. and it almost killed him. He shared his negative experiences of receiving the AstraZeneca vaccine.
What happened to him? He had one of the
claiming he had experienced severe reactions that left him questioning whether he would be able to play guitar again.
Okay.
He had a hard time picking up the guitar for several months.
Sure.
And most people who are reluctant to be vaccinated against COVID are worried about the side effects and whether vaccines have been adequately tested. A survey of 68,000 people in 15 countries has shown. Since running last year, it's found that until March 2021, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine was the most trusted in the UK among people under the age of 65. Basically, he's saying, listen, and he's going to play some North American shows, and then he's going back to the UK. Yeah. And he found common ground with Van Morrison, whose lyrics echoed in my heart. After releasing Stand Deliver, Clapton said he was immediately regaled.
So Van Morrison's not anti-vaccination. Van Morrison is joining him in that thought process?
Yeah.
Okay. So, listen...
And listen,
you need to do a show. Yeah. You need your own show. I've got an idea for you for a show. Okay. You need to do a statistics show. You're a betting man, right? Well, we always talk about those epidemiologists and all that statistical stuff, right? But what's amazing to me is for all the people who think about odds for betting, for outcomes of games, for all that kind of stuff, that is the same thing as what we're talking about on this side. So, Eric Clapton is a great example. he had a terrible reaction to it. But the probability, it's just that we happen to know who Eric Clapton is. It doesn't make it any more common. He's just one of the...
We have, as much as we're supposed to be doing things for others, there is an objective singularity going on right now with everyone in this world that, okay, this may help the common cause, this may help other people,
but it could hurt.
But it could hurt me, and I'm not going to go through the hell because I know my situation, and it's not going. And
I'm not going to.
Because I can sit here and make the argument, and science will show that if everyone got vaccinated, it's going to save 300,000 lives. I'm just throwing that number out.
Yeah.
But if I get really, really sick and it kills me, it's not worth it. And I understand that.
Absolutely. I do too. No, I do too.
There was a guy named God who sent his son Jesus to be killed to save the rest of us, and that didn't seem to be.
But you know what I mean? Here's the thing I don't get. I totally get that.
But the risk.
But it's not just helping other people. It's helping you. Like, I know the whole damn mask thing. We couldn't figure that one out. Yeah. But I mean, I do think this is the thing. Like, Eric Clapton look, he can say whatever he wants to say. But we are almost globally dug into this. Don't make me. I tweeted something today from a physician, a young physician, who's been caring for COVID patients. And I'm just saying this because it was and I tweeted and I said, look, if you're for the vaccination, or you're against the vaccination, read this article. Because this was an article of a physician who was saying, look, I treat people now all the time. And it's pretty clear when they come in, if they've had a vaccination, they don't need as much care. It's breakthrough. She said, but I can't tell you how many dying patients I've had who say, please give me the vaccine. And I have to say, it's too late.
That came from U of E.
Yeah. I retweeted it. It was AL.com. And my only point is...
it's too late.
Well, but that's like, and even as I'm saying this, like, I'm feeling myself be hesitant because I don't want it to be political. Like, the part I don't get is you can make your own decisions, but we've collectively made these decisions. We talked about this yesterday. This we're gonna just. I mean, I don't know how long we can keep going. Yeah. Like, and I don't even talk about people dead. Like, we're gonna have another one and another one and another one, and concerts will be canceled. You know, like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know if concerts will be canceled because I was, the Olympics started, and so it's going to go. I think we're just going to have to trudge through it. I mean,
as we said the first round.
Again, like we said yesterday, it's going to be something where we're going to have to be hit over the head over and over and over again until the point where we get enough vaccinations where it just goes away. Right. But it's going to be because there's going to be more variants.
Did you see even the Olympics thing? I mean, and God love the Olympians and the competitors.
What happened to those women soccer players just now? Cocky women. 44 games in a row.
They lost.
They lost. I know they lost 3-0.
It's the same. It's the same sort of thing.
They're going to wrap it up.
But we now know.
Stop making your Subway commercials and go practice your soccer.
Interesting. But you're okay with
hit the Subway app.
No, but you're okay with collegiate football players signing 7-figure deals.
Oh
yeah, because that's football, right?
Speaking of the Olympics, these anti-sex beds, these cardboard beds we were talking about, they're making headlines this week. The Olympics Twitter account came out yesterday.
Oh, good.
Was quick to set the record straight on these rumors. They stated the beds are not designed to stop intimacy.
What are they designed to stop?
But have been introduced to encourage sustainability.
Oh, I love that.
The sexless beds may have been fake news, but they did shine a light on an age-old question: does having sex or intimacy actually affect performance in sports? They have now scientifically come out. We're gonna put.
I don't know the answer to that.
We're gonna put this to rest right now, because a lot of people. There was a sex ban in the 2016 Euros when the Wags weren't allowed to stay in the same hotel as their English counterparts or squad. Boxer Floyd Mayweather said he abstained from sex until his big fight against Conor McGregor. We saw that went down. Yeah. So is there any truth to the idea that having sex can worsen or affect sporting performances?
I don't know.
So this performance coach who's worked as a sprint jumps coach for UK Athletics tells metro.co.uk most studies suggest that there's no negative impact on athletes' aerobic strength performance when there are several hours between sex and competition. Several hours.
Well, because your body resets.
Banging it out right before you're running a sprint, chances are you're going to be in some trouble. A 2016 study published in Frontiers in Sociology found no link between sex and fitness performance as long as there's some room
to reset.
Right,
exactly. That makes sense.
What are they? Refraction period.
Yeah. Refractory period, yeah.
Refractory period.
That makes sense.
A lot of people who will say, and this according to the study, and again, what it comes down to is
it's all superstitious.
Well, it's all individual. It's individual.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you are a person who has a healthy sex life and you get after it 5 or 6 days a week, and it's part of your routine, and you're a healthy individual,
then
and
you
you're
have
running
to
the Olympics, then yeah, you don't want to piss them off because it's distractionary.
Yes.
You're thinking about that. You're not thinking about the hurdle you got to jump over, right?
You're becoming a psychologist.
And if you're in a situation where you've never abstained before,
right?
Probably not a good idea to abstain before the Olympics
but now
because
this
it's
is
going
all
to piss you off.
psychological.
If you're a boxer and you need a little extra pissiness, then maybe abstaining is a good thing for you.
But you don't want too much pissiness, right?
You want to kill somebody.
No, but this is right. This is where sports psychology comes in. You want to kill somebody, but again, think of a boxer, or think of a boxer in particular. It's not just hitting hard. I mean, there is so much technique there, right? And so if you put on, I have this with athletes I work with. This, the intensity. Here's the best example I've seen. I see it in basketball. You see it in basketball all the time, right? Huge game, Final Four, that kind of thing. And these guys come out and they're missing their shots by 8 feet. It's bouncing off the backboard, right? They got too much adrenaline flowing in them. Too much of that adrenaline, if you're not used to it, takes you out of your game. Mm-hmm. So it's even the anger stuff. I mean, you get angry and you play football. You get angry and you're too angry. You screw up your plays. Yeah. You commit a foul. So little pissy, yes.
Yeah.
But I think you gotta be careful.
The biggest thing is the distraction aspect of it.
Yes.
Are you thinking about it, and all of a sudden is this something outside your regular routine? If all of a sudden she or he is cutting you off to make you better, and it doesn't work for you, then it's going to backfire for you. And we see teams lose too when they abstain from being intimacy. It's funny because sometimes when someone's like really cranky, what do we say? You need to get laid, dude.
Yes.
you need to go. When was the last time you had something? A year ago. You need to get laid. What I think is interesting, and it's funny, this story came up last night because I had a friend of mine who called me that I used to work with at the radio station who's getting married. And they're getting married in March of next year, and he's like, hey, it's going to be in Denver. And he's like, do you think you could come? And I said, by then, maybe, I don't know. It's way far away. Sure.
That's the way.
Put me down for probable or maybe,
Everything now is TBD.
Put me down on Facebook for interested, And he goes, okay, well, I'm only inviting a few people. I said, yeah, so
okay, I'm interested.
Sure. Right now, that sounds great, but I'll let you know a couple days before. But his girlfriend, who he's been with for 3 years.
Oh, I know where this is going. See this all the
is
time.
pulling this no sex till we're married crap.
And when is it?
March.
And they've had sex before.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They're fairly active. They're both athletic. They're in good shape.
I love this.
And first of all, she's like, hey, I got a friend of mine that tried this, and it was so hot because it really. And we've been together, and we've been living together, and it's been 3 years, and we kind of into a routine. And she said that when they held off, for like 4 or 5 months, it drove them mad crazy, and it was so hot, and it was like a real honeymoon. And she's like, I'd like to try it, and he's like, really? And he could tell that she was really into it. First thing I think of is, she obviously doesn't want to be with me. If a woman says, I want to try something, well, we don't have sex for 6 months to see how it's going to feel, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something wrong.
Well, because she's okay with not being with you.
Yeah,
right?
And that's messed up. I don't care if there's a big, giant turkey leg at the end of the I'm starving marathon, right? And so I was like, dude, that's enough for me to say I'm not marrying you.
Oh, that's sad.
No, sorry. First of all, that's a two-way street because you both have to work together.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm open about trying new things. We talked about trying strange. I'm going to hang from the rafters, and we're going to have monkey love and blah 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 blah.
Well, I guess
that's fine, but it's a two-way street because you're directly affecting me.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, we go out about. We're kind of normal 3 or 4 times a week, right? He said, and it's been 2 weeks.
And
I'm
that, by the way,
ready to
that's
lose
not
my flipping
normal.
brain.
That's not normal. Well, depending on your age, that's not normal. That's more than normal.
What's that? 3 or 4 times a week?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in their 30s.
Okay.
They're active.
Yeah.
And she's like, just to think about how hot it's gonna be. He's like, think about how many women I'm gonna be looking at between now and March. And he's saying that as a guy, and I know he wouldn't cheat on her.
Okay.
But I'm like, yeah, because she's throwing him out of his routine.
Yeah.
He's used to being with her. He loves being with her. They have a very healthy sex life.
But you know
And
what?
it's
Have you
like,
ever
why
heard
are
a
you
guy?
throwing this
Have you ever heard of a guy saying that?
Hell no.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, again, it goes back
Not
to
unless he's suffering from ED.
It goes back to the. I already did my Victoro commercial. It goes back to the same thing. I'm not saying it's just blanket okay, right? Because it is. It is you could flip it. You could almost flip it. And let's say they're having sex a couple times a week.
Yeah.
And that's perfect for her. Mm-hmm. It's great. And he's like, let's try something. Let's have it twice a day. I want to try it twice. Let's have it twice a day. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's just, I don't want to do that.
Uh-huh.
So what my point is that you're right. There needs to be the conversation around it, and that may be too much. But I think what's interesting to me is if they have that conversation. He's like, look, that's just, her response to it is super important. Yeah. Her response to it is if she just absolutely says no go, then it is a question of why are you doing this? Because if you're doing this because it's going to be hot.
If you love each other so much and you're wanting to get married to each other, why are you screwing? Why are you shaking the cage?
Well, but you could listen. Yeah. I think that
for a couple of weeks
there's compromise.
Yeah,
there's compromise.
Let's cut it back to once a week and make
let's
it
cut it back. Right, let's cut it back to once a week. I'll tell you what, 3 weeks before the marriage, whatever it is. But and the amount is the time's arbitrary. But what I think is more interesting is she has said it. And she thinks it's going to be hot. She thinks it's a great idea. He's freaking out. Yeah, right? He's like, oh my God. And so, again, if it's me, I'm putting the two together. Okay. Now I feel like Missy Smith. Okay. You want to cut it off until March. You're saying, hell no. Yeah. Where do you meet in the middle? Mm-hmm. And what I'm looking for is who's digging their feet in. Yeah. Who's digging their feet in and is not willing to sort of compromise and come closer and closer. Because when you dig your feet in around something like sex, and you're not willing to compromise at any level, actually, I was thinking about it. Most things, when you dig your feet in as a couple, mm-hmm. as an individual in a restaurant, and you're not willing to compromise, or you're not willing to sort of try something differently, now you're saying that it's more, you're creating a boundary that you realize may affect your relationship.
And that's why I said it may be a deal breaker. Because, I mean, you got to work together. And this is something that affects both of you equally. And if she's saying, I'm not going to do it, then I have to rethink about whether I want to spend the rest of my life with this person.
Not because she's not going to. It's not the sex part, though. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's what you said, it's a deal breaker. So I'm going to go a little bit deeper. It's not a deal breaker in that, or it shouldn't be. If she says, this is what I want, and he says, I don't want this. She's like, I want to wait till March, no sex till March. And he's like, okay, that's ridiculous. If there's no conversation, but he's like, that's it, I'm out.
No. I mean, I'm saying that if she stands put, she digs her heels in and says, no, this is what we're doing, then you got an issue.
Right.
And could that happens before you got married?
Yes.
Then afterwards, because we've all been cut off. It ain't happening today. Because you got home at 3 o'clock.
But I think so.
We got that, but I mean that's a long time.
Listen, I think
there's a compromise that can be made. But he's like, I can already feel the resentment coming up because I find my future wife very attractive, and he is like, I've already started to kind of cuddle with her, and I'm getting roused up, and she's like totally shutting me down, and it's like it sucks. He said it's affecting my security, and I'm like,
well.
And they've only been going at it
for 3 weeks. You see what you already?
Because he said, we've gone 3 weeks without sex, but now that I know I can't get it. Now it's really
okay, but see now. Yeah. Now you need to go see a shrink. Yeah. Or you need to talk to somebody.
Well, you need to go to a marriage counselor.
No, because
go see a priest.
Well, we can think about that. Think about all the things that are going through his head. Now it's my security. Yeah. Like, dude, if she's cutting you off, what's the security? What is it?
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. Well, then okay, why?
Yeah.
You are good enough. You've been having sex forever.
Yeah.
So just a guys do this is...
You don't mess with the guys. You don't mess with the guy's sex part.
You do mess with the guy's sex part. And as a guy, and listen, as a guy, have the balls to dig into it. Instead of saying, you don't mess with my sex part.
No, he wants to. He's doing it. He's asking me, and he's saying...
He shouldn't be asking you.
Well, we were talking about, we're guys.
Okay,
talk about
so
this.
tell me he needs to sit down. He needs to sit down with his wife, or I'm sorry, his fiance, and he needs to have a conversation. But the conversation, I literally got an email today from a client of mine who needs to have a tough conversation with his wife.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, with his girlfriend
about
getting married. He is a engineer by training, and he's real, great, deep feeling guy. But verbally, he has a hard time talking about his feelings.
Yeah.
But as an engineer, he can write the whole damn thing down. He can write all the plans. I said, okay, look, do it. Architect it on paper. Write down all the things that you want to say, so that whether you read it or not, you're going in a comfort zone. And I think this is what guys, women too, but guys have a harder time. Sometimes verbally, we get all flustered.
Yeah.
Right? And then we fall back on, I'm a guy, this is the way I am. So I tell guys all the time, look, if you have to have a tough conversation with your significant other, write it out.
Let me ask you this. Let's go purely psychological here.
We are.
Why would a woman who is in a faithful, healthy, intimate relationship with a guy who she's going to marry, why would she think it's a good idea not to have sex for 6 months before marriage? I don't get it. Is that special?
Yeah.
Do you want to? Let's do something else together to create a union that's going to make things hot. Well, I got an idea. Let's start a savings account between now and then so we can have more money to spend on our honeymoon. Money is hot. What I'm saying though is work together to create something different.
But you see what you're
doing?
doing?
That you can work together, because she's evidently this is a one-way road here. She does. She wants it, and I don't know why.
You don't know that it's a one way. Listen. They haven't had the conversation, so don't make the assumption.
I think they've had. He thinks it's kind of a joke, and he's like, "You're not serious, right?" And she's like, "I'm just kind of throwing it out there." They haven't.
Right.
But she's acted differently the last 3 weeks and they haven't had it for 3 weeks, and he's kind of like, "I think she's serious about this." So they will have this conversation. But why would anybody who's in a healthy sexual relationship say, I think it's a great idea we don't have sex for 6 months just to see what happens? Why? Why rattle the cage? Why ruin what you got going on?
Because you're about to get married. It's a sentinel event.
They've already had sex, Josh.
No, but here's the difference. Here's the difference. Look, I don't know their case, so I got to make some. Why would? Because whoever's making that suggestion believes that they can function going that long without sex, right? That they can function.
Why? Fine. I mean, I can go a week without eating too, but I'm hungry. Why should I?
Because
it's not healthy for a relationship.
No,
now, if they both agree on it, I think this would be really hard to go.
Well, yeah, but you see what you're saying? Why? So if you ask, why would anybody do that? They're going to do it for all the reasons that she said. Number one, it's going to make absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's number one. No, but you see what you're doing? You're asking.
It also takes you out of practice.
No, stop it. You're asking, why would somebody come up with that idea? Number one, we know if we stay apart, the desire will be great. You're asking me how someone comes up with that idea. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, in this particular case, it's around the marriage. And there's all the symbolic stuff about the marriage and the wedding night.
Yeah.
Okay? So why would she come up with this? To me, those are at least two legitimate reasons. I'm not saying he has to agree with it.
Yeah.
But it's, number one, it'll make us want each other more. Number two, we have a very special night coming up, a night like no other night, right? It is your wedding night. Mm-hmm. So that's where she's coming from. I don't know her, but that's where she's coming from. And what he's saying is, and this is a big difference between men and women. I can't do that. I can't do that. It's not just that I want sex. I mean, he's literally saying I can't live without sex. Now, to me, what the interesting thing would be, if, again, get him in a room, let's start talking about this. Is no sex, no intimacy? Mm-hmm. Is it no orgasms?
Yeah.
You know, is it cuddling only? Like, because again, no sex.
Again, this affects both people, and there's so many things that are messed up with this thing. Again, if you both agree, hey, listen, I think it'd be super hot not to have sex for 3 months. You go for it. That's great. That's one.
Right.
Once the cows are out of the barn, they're out of the barn. You've already done it. If you're going to pretend like you haven't had sex and it's going to be like virtual, I know. Well, but this. Okay, let's say that you have a girlfriend that loves to shop.
Give shopping is not the same as sex.
It is for some.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No,
the same endorphins, the same adrenaline that comes, the same fun. Okay, I got an idea. You love to have margaritas and you love to shop. I'll tell you what, to show your love for me in this marriage, how about no shopping and no drinking?
It's like Lent.
No, but that's only 40 days. No shopping.
Okay.
You love to shop 3 or 4 days a week. Money's not a
problem. But you're doing that You're saying that if she says no sex.
And then we'll have a big shopping spree on our wedding day.
Fine.
It'll be great. What do you think she's going to say?
Well, first of all, I love to shop. Whoa, hang on. Stop. She has said no sex, and now he says, okay, fine, no shopping.
I'm just saying that in any other situation, forget the sex part.
Okay.
He's going to go, I know you love to shop.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about giving up woodworking for 6 months to show my love for you because you know how much I love to woodwork, and so we're going to abstain from this, much like Lent.
Okay.
That's what we do. We're going to abstain from something so we can realize.
Okay.
And I'd like you to give up shopping. And he has no problem with her shopping.
Yeah.
He loves her shopping.
Yeah.
She shops great stuff.
No, I think that's
but you hold off.
So is that
she's going to go, wait a minute.
Well, you don't know that. Stop. You don't know that.
Yes, she is.
No, see what you're doing.
Most cases, sure.
No, you don't.
No, because I speak for every guy. Most times. Well, first of all, she's going to go, wow, you know, honey, how much I really love my shopping.
But this is like the sex. You know what she's going to say?
Exactly.
No, you know what she's going to say is this. She's going to say, well, what do you mean by shopping?
Yeah, whatever.
No, whatever. You're being you.
She can't buy anything. She can go and buy some spoons. She can't go out. Okay, clothes shopping. Clothes shopping.
Okay, fine.
If we're gonna we have to go there.
No, but you see what I'm saying? Yeah. This is the same as sex.
And that's why this whole thing is stupid.
Why is it stupid?
Because you're creating all this distraction. No. You're creating all this friction. If you're in love and you're gonna get married and things are going well, why are you screwing with it?
For exactly what I said.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
But you see what I mean? Like, you're being like a typical guy.
Uh-huh.
You're being a typical guy, and this is where, as guys, we get in trouble.
Yeah, because it affects me. It affects us.
But you look, you're being selfish. You're
being
self-centered.
First of all,
you are.
No, this is something that she wants to do that he doesn't want to do.
Well, and I go back to the same thing. I go back, fine.
And he feels like he has to agree to it to make her happy.
Have you had a conversation? And what I'm saying is, as a guy, don't have a bullshit conversation. Don't have the conversations like I can't live without this.
I'm telling you right now, they have that conversation, and it should go well. And she's like, okay, if you cut it back and make it special, you feel that strongly about it, then that's fine because we're together. But if she stands put and says, I want to do it, then he needs to rethink about getting married.
And I agreed with you on that point because at that moment. If he's saying to her, look, this is really hard for me. Mm-hmm. And again, so much of this is dependent on how he communicates. Sure. And guys, we're really bad at this. We're like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to... No. Telling her, if you don't give me sex, it's going to make me rethink our marriage.
Yeah. No, you don't go there. No.
Okay, so fine. So if he says, look, this is really hard.
I really want to be with you. And
I want to be with you. And if she says, I know, but we need to have some sacrifice, right? She says, we need to have some sacrifice. And he says, okay, I understand that. I understand that. Can we talk about what that sacrifice is and how it is? And if she says, well, I'm thinking complete abstinence. And he's like, that's not going to work for me. Yeah. Okay? Then, if she says, take it or leave it, then she's being as bad as him saying, you got to give me sex or I'm leaving. And if either of those are in place, like you said, you have much bigger marital problems that have nothing to do with sex. Yeah. Like nothing.
I think he's disappointed too because things have gone really, really well.
Sure.
They've had a great relationship. He was working a lot. They were going back and forth. That's why they were getting together for 3. And all of a sudden, this kind of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, Julie was talking to me about this thing he did. And he's like, okay, where is this coming from? Because they have a very open relationship with each other. And they love each other. And they're super excited about getting married. And all of a sudden, he's like, what the hell? Where the hell is this coming from? And the first thing a guy thinks is, am I doing something wrong, or is she only being with me intimately because she's trying to please me, and it's not really that special? Because most people that really love things that are healthy in a relationship, you don't abstain from them.
Well, not abstain.
In Lent, you give up things that you love, but also can help you make you healthy. You give up chocolate cake, or you give up gum, or you give up gambling, or you give up alcohol. It makes you healthier. You don't give up vitamins.
But what if she said
don't give
to
up
him,
vitamin C,
But what if she said to him, you said they're having it, what did you say, 3 to 4 times a week?
Yeah.
Or 3 times a week. What if she said to him, because here would be the bombshell that would sort of be a gray area. What if she said, I love you, and I love having sex with you, but to be honest, I'm fine with 1 time a week. The other couple times that we have, it's not really for me. I mean, I could take it or leave it. And there's a lot of women who will say, 1 time a week is fine. Yeah. Can you imagine, though, the reaction he would have knowing that the other 2 to 3 times is for him? That she doesn't not enjoy it, but again, I've heard the analogy, chocolate cake. You like chocolate cake, but you don't like chocolate cake 3 times a week. You like it occasionally. Yeah. And it's not that the other times that you eat the chocolate cake, it's bad, but you could take it or leave it. And that's what I'm saying is this guy, and guys do this, women do this too. When there is a quick shift, a quick something that's pretty personal, we start telling ourselves stories. Yeah. Right? We start making, which is fine, normal, healthy. But don't believe your story until you've had a chance to test it out. Yeah. Otherwise, you create an entire reality for yourself, which a lot of times has nothing to do.
Well, the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of times where a woman's with a man, she doesn't want to be with him.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times a guy's with a woman that maybe he doesn't want to be with her.
Yes.
Stereotypically, we think the guys will get whatever they want.
No, but that's true. Absolutely.
And so that's marriage. That's marriage.
Right.
There are some times where you're with somebody and you know how badly they want it or need it for whatever the reason is. Maybe they've had a long day. Maybe they haven't been with you. Maybe they just got back in town. Maybe it's their birthday. Maybe it's an anniversary. And you do it because that's what you do in marriage. Sometimes you make that, I know you hate the word sacrifice, because it goes both ways. Now, if you're the ones always sacrificing, you're the ones always staying with him, and you don't want to have, then you need to have that deeper, darker conversation. But for the most part, I think there's a lot of people that have sex that don't really want to do it. There are some women that feel like it's their duty to do that. There's some guys that think it's their duty to do it. If they've got a woman that's overly sex and she wants to have sex 5 or 6 days a week, and you're like, dude, I'm tired, but you do it because, and as long as you're not being taken advantage of, it's good. That's a great conversation. But that's one of those caveats. This is where guys think. I agree. I'm not saying it's right. This is, if I start doing the laundry, she's going to expect me to do the laundry all the time. If she's going to pull this shit 6 months before the wedding and tell me I can't have sex with her, then what's going to happen after we get married? That's the way guys think. Okay, totally great. Right. Next, and he may have a point there.
He may, but you
got to have that communication. You got to sit down and say, listen, I'm willing to do this, but I want to know why, and I want to know what's going to happen.
Help me. Here is Dr. Josh's tip for the day. Yeah. Help me understand. Help me understand where you're coming from. Help me understand how you got this idea. I mean, listen, if not just guys, if people would say in a difficult conversation, help me understand first. And the reason that it's important to say that is it creates a pause. Yeah. And it gives the person a chance to explain where they're coming from. We just, it's job security. Job security.
Hey, one of those things is if, in fact, maybe you're...
This is going to be a hell of a pivot right now.
If your fiancé says she doesn't want to be with you for the next 6 months...
You should go play on backyard swings.
No, you need to hire a spy for it.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I had a friend of mine yesterday called me up and said, man, I need your spy, buddy. I need your spy. I got something going on here. He's like, I cannot believe I'm making this phone call. And, man, did he get what he needed.
Before you finish this, related to this, though, I think because we talk about Jeff Hammond, Spy Friend, all the time. If you're a small business, because this is where this situation is, Jeff works with companies all the time, not just individuals. So it's not just your situation. It may be your company situation, which it sounds like your friend. Yep. Okay, so I think that's important.
He did. Spy for Rent, area code 205-790-3051, 790-3051, or Spy for Rent, spy4rent.com. Check out Jeff Hammock. He does alternative drug screening. He does bug sweeps. He does spying. He does surveillance. He does it all. If you need information on it. In this particular case, a friend of mine was being screwed with a little bit. And was like, okay, I'm gonna, because he knew this guy was a scumbag, and he's like, okay, we're gonna get this right now. I'm gonna get some dirt on him, and he got some dirt pretty doggone quick. Check out Spy for Rent. That's Spy for Rent. Prominently displayed in Times Square among customary ads for Hershey bars and H&M. A new billboard plugging an online program for fitness was unveiled yesterday in Manhattan. Weight loss and mindfulness.
Great.
And it's caused outrage among the woke of New York. The controversial sign on the southeast corner of West 48th Street and 7th Avenue shows a plus-size woman squeezed into workout gear sitting with her head in her hands.
Okay.
Large letters above the despairing model ask, feeling fat and lazy? The rhetorical question is being posed by self-styled wellness motivator Deborah Capicio, whose trim figure appears on the promo, which directs you to getyoursparklebackgirl.com.
Oh, that's terrible. Wait. So this is a plus-size model crammed into fitness wear.
Yeah, it's a overweight.
Someone's overweight.
Overweight woman.
And
She's sitting there with a hand,
yeah.
and she says feeling fat and lazy. And then there's a skinny gal. Here's the billboard here, and she's sitting there, and she's like, "Hey, get your sparkle back, girl. Come check it out."
That's not.
So, influencers, activists have blasted the 50-foot billboard as blatantly fat-phobic, toxic, and triggering.
Yeah, that's
the vilification reached an extreme when thousands of followers took to social media to attack the prejudice against people who are overweight or obese.
You just blew it, sweetie. You blew it. Like, I shouldn't say that sounds terrible. That's
she insists her unapologetic use of fat and lazy calls out the silent epidemic that's going on in women's minds every day. She wants them to address their negative self-talk, the criticisms that may subconsciously give themselves that perpetuate a sense of inadequacy rather than just lose weight. The coach, who previously suffered from an eating disorder herself, explained that she noticed striking similarities in the way all dieters think.
Yes.
We identify as fat and lazy.
Yeah.
And we do.
I get that.
And those thoughts were sabotaging our efforts to feel good about ourselves and get healthy. So in other words, just because you're fat doesn't mean you're fat and lazy.
Absolutely agree with that.
Despite such a confident call to action, the 50-year-old says she was disappointed by some of the reactions to her billboard, which cost her $13,000. I expected some backlash, was ready for it, especially the online abuse, but I'm more disturbed by today's culture where anything that causes discomfort or dissonance is considered taboo.
No, see, and listen. I live in the world of discomfort and conflict and internal bias.
Yep.
Where she blew it, and it was a risk, was the billboard.
Yep.
Because this is about perception, right? So I get what she just said about individuals who are out of shape, feeling that they're fat and lazy, and part of what we do in trying to get people activated is help them understand you're not fat and lazy, that's fine. But this is sort of the social media instant snippets of information. It clearly sent to a lot of people the wrong message.
She said the terms fat and lazy on her polarizing Times Square billboard might be disruptive, but they're designed to make you think. She said because a lot of people who are overweight, who obviously aren't very active, feel like they're lazy.
Does the billboard say you're not fat and lazy? Does the billboard say?
No, it just says feeling fat and lazy.
Yeah.
And again, just because you're fat and lazy or fat or lazy or fat and not lazy or lazy and not fat doesn't mean that you're feeling fat and lazy. She's asking the question, do you feel fat and lazy?
But you see what I'm saying? This is why a billboard.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with someone who obviously is practicing an unhealthy lifestyle?
Yes.
That owns it and says, screw you.
Yeah.
I am fat and lazy, or I am fat, or I like to shoot things, or I like to drink way too much, and that's just the way I am, and I'm going to own it. Do you have a problem with that? And the reason I say that is there is a particular guy who's an influencer who weighs nearly 300 pounds, has 16,000 followers on Instagram, explained he wants other people to be spared the shame he once experienced and ultimately overcame as a result of his side. I'm a fat person who believes in fat liberation. It can confidently say that fat is not a feeling, and I like it, and that's who I am, and that's the way I'm going to be. Well, you're going to probably die in the age of 65, and you're going to have diabetes, and you're so.
Right, so
it's someone owning and being totally.
As long as they truly are authentic about it, and I'm not saying that he's lying. I'm not saying that, but it's what you just said. if you say to me, I'm going to live in a way, you can play, this is rockers, this is people who, the addiction part, well, see again, this is where individuals who are morbidly obese, so many times more than not, they're struggling.
They're struggling,
and again, it's like I almost feel like it's an addict saying, "I own this."
The last thing that a person who owns it and is liberated by something that's not healthy for them,
right,
is usually the last time they say it before they lose the weight. Lizo's that way. Adele was that way.
Yep.
Who's the other gal that just lost it? This is who I am. This is the way I want to be.
Yep.
Ruben stuttered. This is the way I am. I'm proud of myself. I've always been fat. This is the way I eat. And next thing you know, they're losing 150 pounds. They're like, wow, I never realized this.
That's
is the way
exactly.
It's almost like they throw the towel in. They're like, you know what? This is who I am. This is the way I'm going to live. But guess what? You're going to have, it's like the smoker who won't put the pack of cigarettes down. It's like the alcoholic who won't put the drink down. This is who I am. I want to be. Okay, fine. That's fine. But don't feel body shamed by it. Because of a billboard that says fat lazy, why are you shamed by it? That's who you are.
Because it's yeah. Well, and it's so interesting. You could take the same phrase. This is who I am.
Most fat people don't want to be fat unless they throw in the towel in.
So, but it's interesting that you said it that way because you could say, this is who I am and this is who I'm going to be, right? And I'm owning it. Or you could say, I guess this is who I am and I guess this is who I'm going to be. And it's the same words, but what's behind it is as opposite as is possible.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that you have to tease out. You know, are you going to own, and there's degrees of it. Morbidly obese, I don't buy into that one. Less than a perfect, not even, shouldn't say it, less than society's idea of perfect, own it. Right? That's the body shaming piece. That we should not be shaming people who are, and there's a lot of research around this. They've done tons and tons of studies about how much weight, how much extra weight, and where it is makes you unhealthy.
Yeah.
Right? It's the whole thing about belly fat,
Sure.
etc. And they've looked at athletes and they've looked at non-athletes who look to be overweight and are as healthy as a horse. Mm-hmm. We're not talking morbidly obese. I think in that realm, I think it's important, the plus size models. Because that's the other problem. The plus size models are average.
Yeah.
But when you get to that extreme, and the thing I didn't like about the billboard, everything she said was fine. You don't put it that way on a billboard because you know what you do. You're trying to be.
There was obviously a reason why she's doing that.
It's the whole provocative.
We're talking about it,
right?
And it was in the middle of Manhattan,
right?
So I mean, she knew exactly what she was doing. And
do you think
she's a fitness, and she'll kill by doing that. The fact that she's getting talk is good. I just don't understand anyone that feels liberated and wants to own it. That's fine. If you want to own being 300 pounds, 250 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, that's fine. But you're also going to have to own the strain you're putting on your back. You're going to have to own.
That's where I was going.
You have to own your knee replacement surgeries you're probably going to have in your 50s. You're going to have to own the fact that you can't walk in the park with your grandkids. You're going to have to own the fact that you're going to be a diabetic. You're going to have to own the fact that you're going to have a stroke. You're going to have to own all these things. And those are all painful things. You can't own a heart attack. Oh, your doctor's telling you, listen, your cholesterol level's through the roof, your blood pressure's through the roof, and you need to lose some weight or you're going to die early, and then you have a heart attack. Well, that's who I am.
Yeah.
That's who I am. Okay, well, guess what? Then you're going to have to do ramifications. It's not healthy.
What do you say about rockers?
That's not body shaming. That's just trying to be healthy.
What do you say about people who do drugs? I'm not talking about, you're not an addict. You haven't become addicted.
I got a great take on this.
Okay.
Because when you're in the middle of it, that's who I am. There was a period of time. Do you remember All That Jazz?
Yeah.
With Roy Schneider?
Yeah.
Where he stands in front of the mirror every morning.
Mm-hmm.
He starts with a prescription pill. And then by the end of the film, he's just pouring them out. And he's like, it's showtime.
Yep.
That was me for a period of time. And when you're going through that and you're making it and you're performing at a high level, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Until you crash. Right. Until the show's over.
Right.
And there were some points in time where I was looking at myself in the mirror and I just got in at 4:30 in the morning, I needed to be at work at 5, and I'm going, it's showtime. Yep. And at some point, you're just tired of the shit. And
right.
You're like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. And that's when you change your life. And I'm not saying that's what overweight people do, but at some point, rock and rollers do the same thing. It's all
That's what I
fun
was
and
gonna
games
ask you,
when
yes.
you're making serious jack and you're performing at a high level. Then when you see Joe Perry in Las Vegas and he can't even play the notes to
Right.
live it on the edge, you get caught up for it. You're like, you know what? Maybe I need to check it back a little bit. And I think every rock and roller does that. Hopefully they do that in their 40s and 50s and not their 70s. But you see every single one of them. Hell, now Mick Jagger's drinking, green juice.
Kombucha.
And this guy partied. Keith Richards, is healthy and he's 98,000 years old. But at some point, it's all good if you're functioning and you're getting it done. But at some point, there will be a day of reckoning where you're like, I'm tired of this. I can't do it anymore. My body hurts. I don't feel well. I'm missing my shows. I don't play as well as I used to. And that's where it changes. And that's where you find out whether they're going to have longevity or not.
What about the person who drives a motorcycle, jumps out of an airplane, and has a family? The risk.
You hope at some point, and we talked about the guy who
That's what I was
killed
thinking
himself.
about, right? Because it's not a chronic thing, although
it's Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah.
Say I'm going to space.
But
he could have said, no, you're not.
That's right.
You have a child, and you're not going.
That's what I was thinking.
Because I need you here. It's safe. No, I don't care.
And that's easier. That's an easier one because it's a single behavior that you have. It's a single choice. Again, when you struggle, you know this. When you struggle with weight or eating, other forms of substances that you become dependent on, it's a constant battle. It is, and that's what I was saying. Pick your heart. That's the hard part. And I can even go. Listen, I go one step further. There's a lot of us. Look, I've never struggled with weight. I've never struggled with addiction. Just as much. I got some things that I struggle with that I have been trying to change for, let's say a good 30 years. Sometimes I get in a good place. Sometimes I don't. And I know that there are times where I have said, based on, I've said, okay, this is who I am. I'm going to own this. This is who I am. I can't change. I've tried to do it differently. Screw it.
It's the way I'm wired.
Right, it's the way I'm wired. And then what happens is, I know for me, that works for somewhere between an hour and a month. Right? It depends. And but then what sneaks in, and this is the same with weight and addiction. The reason I'm saying this is because, again, a lot of us struggle with things that are not weight and addiction, but it works exactly the same way. Then I go, shit, I don't like the way that I am. I hate this. Okay, I gotta try again.
Yep.
Right? The problem is when I say I own it, it's almost as if I own it out of defeat, but I don't want it.
Yeah.
You're right, and so I think you're really in trouble with addiction or other when you own it. You claim defeat, and then you just go. You keep going in the dangerous path.
Yeah.
It's the idea of having enough fight in you to at least say, I'm owning it, but it's not an authentic owning it.
Yeah.
I'm owning it because I feel helpless. I'm owning it because I don't think I can do anything else.
Or you're giving up.
I'm giving up.
I know some overweight people that like being overweight. They say they like being overweight. They've always been overweight. That's the way I am, and that's the way I'm like. Good for you. And you pray for people like that. They pray for me, and you're like, pray for my skinny ass, and I'll pray for your big ass because you're a good friend of mine, and I know this is going to take years off your life. And if you're okay with that, and you're not going to spend as much time with your grandkids, I'm not shaming you. That's fine. But if that's the way you're going to live, then you continue to eat, all that stuff that you eat, and you do what you want to do. But if you truly want to be around longer and be an influence on other people in your life,
you got to do right.
Then you're probably going to.
It's hard.
Yeah.
This stuff's hard.
To her point, the fact that you can't even say anything anymore, or else you're shaming or you're woke or whatever is. I mean, it's just she knew that billboard was going to blow up, and she's got more people signing up for her stuff because she's a super skinny ass, good looking girl next to this overweight woman. Her boobs are hanging out, and she's like fat and lazy. It's great. We're getting fat and lazy on classic rock. If you like what you see and what you hear on KCast Radio, get the KCast Radio app. The KCast Radio app. Everybody watching us on Facebook right now, download the KCast Radio app. We got some super cool things going on later on tonight. We're going to be doing our IBM Champions Chat show.
Nice.
It's a show heard in over 20 countries. It'll be going on. It's where we mash up a classic rock and high tech. We'll do that later on tonight, right around 7 o'clock. And of course, we couldn't do it without our great sponsors. Chris Dorse, the State Farm team, pulled into the garage, cleaned out the garage. I pulled the car in, which is great because I want the car to be in the garage because I protect my vehicle, right? And so does State Farm. They protected for my son too, who is now driving. Has been driving for about a month and a half. He has not had a ticket or a wreck yet, which is fantastic. He did the Steer Clear program, saved us 20% with the wonderful State Farm. Chris Lum recognized the top 10 State Farm agent out of 18,500 nationwide, so you did get the best. He's a crown jewel right here in Birmingham. 205-985-7799, 205-985-7799 is Chris Dorse's State Farm team. Tell us about one more partner, and I'll get us some classic rockets.
Yeah, let me tell you about Woodhouse Day Spa. Woodhouse Day Spa is an amazing place. It's located up at the Summit, 905-7676. It's like going on vacation. I mean, yes, you're going in for a massage or maybe manicure, pedicure, or facial, some sort of special treatment that you want, but it's not just going in for the treatment. You literally walk into 5,000 square feet of a resort. And imagine taking 1 hour out of your day where you're in a resort setting, you don't have to travel anywhere. This is Woodhouse Day Spa. Again, they're located up on the Summit, 905-7676, or go to their webpage at birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
That was an awesome show, Dr. Josh Klapow.
Woo!
That was good, man. Got personal there. Hey, thanks again for watching us here on Facebook. We hope you enjoyed. We're just kind of farting around a little bit, and since we're on the radio live every morning between 6 and 9, we might as well go live on Facebook Live. So we thank you for watching, and make sure you download the KCast radio app and tell your friends and family. And we do classic rock and bone 24/7. And Dr. Josh and I'll be back tomorrow morning on Friday morning. Thank you.